just want to tell you about how needed we are. And I know most of you know this, but in the meantime, our middle son, who is a wrestler, so our first son, an incredible wrestler, most of you know this story, Olympic hopeful, national champion, went to Ukraine, Olympic training center, 2 times state champ, multi-time national champ, amazing wrestler. Second one, not quite the same confidence level, which was very interesting, but yet more talented. He just didn't believe in himself as much. So he was a little bit more when I worked with him. And again, I was working with athletes, yet I hadn't really designated myself as a performance mindset expert at the time. Well, he was a sophomore. He had won state. He was a great wrestler. And at this time, about this time in his life, he started to have back problems. And, you know, wrestlers are really tough guys. So he was pushing through it. Not a big deal. Your body hurts when you wrestle. Well, eventually, I think it was right before state, he was taken down and twisted a certain way and crawled off the mat because he couldn't move. His back was just locked up. So at that point, tough dad finally said, okay, fine, we can take you to the orthopedic. And he was told that he had a fracture in his back and he would never wrestle again. Well, number one wrestler was like Mr. Big guy, and everyone knew him, and he was known around the whole country as one of the best wrestlers in the country. And number two was like, this was my identity. Who am I now? I've been wrestling since I was in kindergarten. I don't even know who I am. Spiraled into anxiety, because we all know anxiety is what's going on in here. We start worrying about things. It starts getting worse. Brought him to the doctor because he was starting to have panic attacks, which is really tough on a mom, you guys. Like the middle of the night, rolling in the corner like this, crying, running across the street. We live like on a highway, kind of in his underwear in the middle of the winter, because he was so like had to get out of his body, and that's how people feel when they have anxiety attacks. We went through that. I finally went him to the doctor, and I was like, okay, I'm a hypnotist. I know how to help him, yet he's my son and he's not listening, and we need to do something here. He would sleep all day long, and then he couldn't sleep at night because he'd had these panic attacks. It was really tough and really scary. At the same time, I had these foster girls. And so what the doctor did was he gave him a sheet, and he said, will you fill this out? And so Jared filled it out, and he said, yeah, you definitely have anxiety. And he said, and you have depression. From that day moment on, Jared had depression. And I was like, come on, right? Like we just had to deal with the anxiety issues, and now we have depression, and that became his belief system. So it was about a good year that we were like in a tough spot where we were working through this. And I remember going to the HypnoThoughts conference and going to a class that Scott Sandlin was teaching. Now, he doesn't teach classes anymore, but this was probably about 5 years ago. And I had heard that he had been a swimmer in college, and he had dealt with an injury and not able to swim again. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone that Jared might relate to. So he did Zoom sessions with Scott, and I saw a huge difference in him, and it was amazing. And what I want to tell you guys is that we all think that clients are hard to find, or where am I going to find my clients? And not all of us, but you know, that's kind of the thing, or I want or need more clients. The bottom line is these clients are out there. Like they need us. We just have to help them see what we're an expert at, and then share with them the gifts that we have to help them shift out of things, right? So another example is I'm seeing a girl named Elsie right now, and she's a cross-country runner, and she's in high school. And she just got back from the Olympic Training Center this summer and had won state last year. Conference was coming up, and she started to have some pain and realized she had a stress fracture. And she was devastated. Well, the funny thing is a year prior to that, I had been to their cross-country team giving a team talk, because that's how I get clients, is I give these free team talks, and then I get clients coming in. And so she had told everyone that at this team talk, she learned so many mindset training techniques that it changed the way she ran, and that's why she won state. Yet I had never seen her as a personal client. She just had told everybody from this little team talk. And so she referred, I think, maybe 5 clients I was referred to from Elsie, who had never come into my office. And then she ended up with a stress fracture. So she, her her mom called and said, look, she talks about you all the time. I know she's never seen you. Can you fit her in? Of course I can fit her in. So we've worked with 4 sessions with Elsie, and she's been going to physical therapy, and she has state coming up, and she's so excited. So I'm seeing her again this week to just kind of do a little tweak. But with athletes, the part that's so beautiful is that I offer a 4-session program, and then 9 times out of 10, they'll come back again before season, and they'll come back again the next year, and they'll come back again, and they'll tell everybody else about why they're doing so well. So they are amazing referrers. And then the last one I wanted to tell you about real quick is Coach Erin, who I just spoke to last week. She called me and she said, I have a mountain biking team, and we have the captain of our team is, she had a concussion last year, and so now before races she cries, and it's affecting the entire team. What can you do? And I simply said, well, I do free team talks. We can do that. I don't know that we can fit it in the next 2 weeks. We could possibly do it over Zoom. And that's, about a half an hour, 45 minutes. I just give some real quick mindset tools, and then I can see her individually in my office, or I can come to your team and we can do an hour and a half, 2-hour training for $700. And she's like, oh, wow, well, let me find out. Oh, okay, I think our team really needs you. Let's schedule a team session in the next 2 weeks. So I'm gonna do the hour and a half training with them. But she literally just found out about me from Elsie, who had said that she had gone to me or been at a team talk with me, that she didn't even know Elsie was seeing me at the time. So that's how, it's so easy to get these athletes in the door when, that's who you're speaking to. All right, so finishing with Jared, he ended up working with Scott Sandlin for a little while, was doing much better, taught me so much about working with athletes and helping them move through injuries and blocks. Just part of my journey of everything that I've lived through, and just worked with athletes and learned working with them.